Hey everyone, it's Sarah from Sassy Reads, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the books that I read for the 2018 BookTube-A-Thon. So, I'm just going to be incredibly honest. BookTube-A-Thon fell during a horrible week for me. It wasn't like a bad week in general, but I was dealing with a lot of university stuff, spending a lot of time emailing people, going to offices, running around campus, doing stuff. So it was not a good mental week for me, and so because of that I didn't really want to do that much reading. I kind of just did a lot of praying and devotionals because my mental health is more important than finishing a bunch of books. I did finish 5 books for BookTube-A-Thon though, and I did also read some books that I didn't finish. So let's just dive right into that. So the first challenge for BookTube-A-Thon was to let a coin toss decide your first read. So I picked up The Drawing of the Three by Stephen King. This is the second book in the Dark Tower series, and it follows Roland hours after the gunslinger picks off, and it starts off with him being attacked by this weird spider lobster creature on a beach. He loses a toe, he loses 2 fingers, which are really important because, hello, Roland's a gunslinger, and he can't shoot his gun. It doesn't matter though because he's like an ambidextrous gunslinger, but infection setting in, right? And all of a sudden on this beach, this door appears, and he can't see the back of the door, but the door is labeled prisoner, and it relates to the tarot cards that the man in black drew for Roland at the end of the novel. So yeah, and it's a really interesting take on this whole concept of leaving the world that Roland is in and entering our world basically. And it does it in a completely different way than Jake from the first novel. He is introduced to Roland's world through being murdered basically by the man in black. And in this case, Roland ends up entering this door, and he can see, it's like a doorway to the other world, so he can see what the prisoner sees, kind of thing. It's like a possession of sorts. I haven't finished it. I am 147 pages in. I'm really enjoying it. I just haven't dedicated that much time to it, if I'm being honest, and I kind of regret that. But c'est la vie. I can't just spend my whole life being like, I didn't finish this for BookTube-A-Thon. I will finish this hopefully before the end of August, but this is a very hectic month for me, so who knows. But I am enjoying it so far, and I'm finally happy that I am back in this world. It'll probably be a while before I get the 3rd book because I'm back to a book buying ban. But, well, actually, let me keep this one close by in case I need to talk about it again. Okay, the second challenge was to read a book about something you want to do, and I just said that I wanted to be a wife one day because I was kind of like poking fun at the challenge in a way. And so I picked the Stepford 5, which is also me continuing to poke fun at the challenge. I gave this one 4 stars. I actually could have used this for the book-to-movie adaptation because I'm pretty sure the movie is on demand. But I heard there's some changes to the movie, and I don't know if I want to watch the film because I really, really liked this. It follows a young couple who moves into the idyllic suburb of Stepford, and they have like this men's society. This takes place during like, I think the 1960s. And so this woman's husband, her name is Joanna. Her husband's like, I'm going to decimate the men's association from the inside out because, plot twist, they are interested in the women's liberation, and so this is like something that's not very well liked in Stepford. I'll just say it like that. And so this is interesting because it's this weird dichotomy of, is Joanna really insane, or are these wives being turned into robots? And that's fun. And I read this in a day. So, like, this was kind of like my favorite thing about BookTube-A-Thon, just because like I don't sit down and read a whole novel in a day, but this prompted me to just sit down and read this really tiny novel and do it, and I really, really liked it. So I will be picking up more of Ira Levin's novels. I think I am interested in Rosemary's Baby. Maybe some of his other stuff. I don't really know too much about it. The next challenge was to read and watch a book-to-movie adaptation. I said in my TBR that I was not going to pick up Big Little Lies by Liane Moriarty. I lied. I listened to the audiobook and it was amazing. I gave Big Little Lies 5 stars. Y'all, this was so good. It's a kindergarten drama, so it's like a domestic thriller. And I would consider it a thriller because I was sitting there like, oh my god, who died? Who murdered who? And I was, surprised. My thoughts, I knew who died because spoilers, but I didn't know who did it. And it was a wild surprise. Like, when they were revealing it, I was walking my dog outside and I was like, oh! Like, making all kind of noises. I'm pretty sure the mailman thought I was crazy, but Big Little Lies is good. And I watched one episode of it, so I'm counting it as challenge completed because I watched an episode of the adaptation. I didn't read any books with green on the cover. This wasn't a green week for me. The next challenge was to read a book while wearing the same hat the whole time. And I picked up, like, you see, I have like some Mickey Mouse ears back there. Yeah, I wore that while I read Death Note Volume 1. I finished this yesterday for the last day of BookTube-A-Thon. I love Death Note, you guys. I give this 5 stars. I'm a huge fan of the anime, so like to go back and just reread it. And I didn't realize how much the art style really looks like the anime. Like, kudos to them for doing a fantastic job. Like, let me show you. I really like the art on the opening page. So yeah, I love it. If you don't know what this is about, this follows Light Yagami, who is the #1 student in his area in Japan, and a death note is dropped by a Shinigami, which is a Japanese death god. And if you touch the death note, you are able to see Shinigami, the Shinigami who owns the death note, as well as be able to kill anyone with having their name and their face writ like in your head as you write it down in the notebook. And it's a wild ride. This is one of the best stories I've ever read. I just love how seamlessly it all ties together. I really am looking forward to reading more of the manga as I can. Then the 6th challenge was to read a book with a beautiful spine, and I finished The Shining by Stephen King. I don't think the spine is particularly beautiful, but it's beautiful with my other Stephen King editions in this type. I love this. This was the first book I finished for BookTube-A-Thon. I gave it 5 stars. It's brilliant. I am obsessed with this novel. It is a real good horror novel. Like, it blew my mind. I was like shook. I just love like the way that the Overlook is presented as this entity, and so like more so towards the end of this novel we get to see like how it is much more supernatural and out of this world than we originally thought, because at first it just seems like hallucinations and like the concept of is it real or is it not real? And then whew, those last couple of chapters. And can I just say that I am glad that the character who was killed in the movie isn't killed in this book, because I had problems with that. Anyway, 5 stars. Then the goal was to read a 7th book. So yesterday I finished the audiobook for The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hitton. And this audiobook is fantastic. I give it 5 stars. It follows a black man from Alabama who was wrongfully convicted for crimes he did not commit, and he spent 25 years on death row in Alabama, constantly trying to get his conviction appealed. So those are the books that I read. Let me know down below how it went for you, and I'll see you down below in the comments. Bye and happy reading.